Oh man, let's try this again. Welcome back, dudes and lady dudes, to Just Nuts, guys. We've got some support here. We've got Eternity Code's first, whatever it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 new cards. 8 new cards for Eternity Code. Eternity Code is the core set coming after Ignition Assault. So we'll probably be getting this around April-ish, maybe March. Somewhere in that time span. But yeah, we got the first couple of cards. This should probably be some of the last Cyberse cards, or at least maybe the last set that's like super Cyberse focused, because that was like Linkross thing. And if we get a new like anime situation, they may try and lean off of the Linkross stuff a little bit, just to tailor to the new like series or whatever. But yeah, let's get into these cards. Don't want to waste too much time. So first things first, we've got Parallel Exceed, a really cool level 8 monster. It's a Cyberse effect. Wind, level 8, 2000 attack, 2000 defense monster. First and second effects are hard once per turns. If you link summon while this card is in your hand, you can special summon this card to your zone that link monster points to. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon a Parallel Exceed from your deck. Huh. Okay, so if you link summon, special summon this from hand, and then special another copy of it straight from the deck. Okay, that's pretty good. It's a +1. And then third effect, if summoned by the effect of itself, so that first effect getting it out of the hand, or special summoning it from the deck with the second effect, then this card's level becomes 4, and its original stats will be cut in half. So it'll become 1,000, 1,000. That's not really what you're using it for, though. I would have been a little more intrigued if it stayed level 8, so that way rank 8 plays were like really on the table, because there are some powerful rank 8 monsters you can end on. But still, rank 4s are still pretty solid. I mean, Time Thief Redoer, Tornado Dragon in matchups, Abyss Dweller, obviously very strong right now. So it really does set up like Cyberse decks, or any deck you want to play this in, like for a pretty strong play turn 1. And then even turn 2 getting like strong rank 4 plays going as well. Next up, we have Accesscode Talker, which is a Cyberse Link effect monster. This is the monster on the cover of the set. He's dark, he's Link 4, he points up, down, left, and right. His attack is 2300, and he takes any 2 plus effect monsters, so very generic. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of this card's effects. Okay, that's pretty dangerous right out the gate. If this card is link summoned, you can target 1 link monster used as material for its link summon as cost. This card gains attack equal to that monster's link rating times 1000. So pretty much what you're telling me is that this card, almost every time you summon it, is going to be at least 4,300. You're not linking 4 different regular effect monsters into this thing. You're linking a link 2 at least with like 2 other monsters or another link 2, or you're doing a link 3 in another monster. If you do a link 3, it's 5,300, and your opponent can't respond to that to negate it. So that's pretty spicy. He's gonna get huge. Okay. Second effect, you can banish 1 link monster from your field or graveyard as cost to destroy 1 card your opponent controls. Also, you cannot banish another monster with the same attribute to activate the effect of Accesscode Talker for the rest of the turn. Now, this is like an interesting one. Oh, I get it. This isn't once per turn. Okay, so at first I didn't understand that second line of text, but now it makes sense because apparently this second effect is not once per turn. You can banish as many link monsters from graveyard up to the different attributes. So you just go banish, pop a card. Banish another one as long as it's a different attribute, pop another card. If that's true, and this could just pop like up to like 5, technically 6 times in a turn, that's crazy. This card's nuts. This gets huge. Your opponent cannot respond to this. So if you're able to get into this while like bypassing like negations and stuff, you're probably going to win the duel. Wow, that's crazy. That card's kind of nuts. Really? Whew. All right. Next up, we have Proxy F Magician, a Cyberse Link effect monster. It's fire, a Link 2, attack 1400, bottom left, bottom right arrows, the quintessential beautiful Link 2 arrows. It takes 2 effect monsters, so it's very generic as well. I love the design of it. You can only use each of the first and second effects of this card once per turn. During your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as fusion materials. So that's actually really interesting. Just because like it's a generic Link monster. So any Link deck that maybe any fusion deck that relied on getting to polymerization, as long as you can put this on board with the monsters you're fusing anyway. I wish it said from field or hand, because that actually will be tough for certain decks to put not just 2 materials to get into this thing, but also have the exact 2 materials that they're going to be fusing with on the field as well. That's what makes it kind of tough, but we're also seeing some like more generic fusions come into the game. So maybe if you put a fusion and a dark already on the field, you can just go like right into like a Dragostapelia. That's a monster negate, right? So there are some like weird plays that you can make there, and maybe this card just helps you access that without having to hope that you draw polymerization to get into those fusion monsters. So I like this card a lot. I think it will come up at some point in a very specific strategy, but definitely has huge potential, I think. Also, the second effect of a fusion monster is fusion summon to a zone this card points to. You can special summon one monster with 1,000 or less attack from your hand. That's not the craziest effect. If it's special from grave, I'd like a little more, be like an actual +1. But still, it can get some stuff out of the hand just to like link up. So if you use this effect to fusion summon, then you get another one out, then you can just link up into a link 3. And, there are some strong link 3s in the game for sure. Next up we have Splash Mage, another really cool design card. It's a water Cyberse Link effect monster. Link 2, its attack is 1100, so still small, with a top right and a bottom right arrow. So weird arrows. I don't know if we've ever seen those arrows, but it takes 2 Cyberse monsters, so locked into Cyberse specifically. You can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. You can target 1 Cyberse monster in your graveyard. Special summon it in defense position, but negate its effects. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except for Cyberse monsters. Now, this is like predominantly, well, this supports so much, I feel like. This is generically makeable in Salamangrates. This is generically makeable in Marincess. Obviously, in Code Talkers, it's very good. It's also in defense mode, so you cannot revive Link monsters, so that's one really important thing to note here. And it negates its effects, so you can't just like revive a Gazelle Descend, like that kind of stuff, right? But there is still some pretty powerful utility here. I mean, I'm still trying to think. I mean, I guess in those decks, like, you'd rather just be making a play. So maybe in Code Talker, it's the most useful because it just means 2 Cyberse monsters on field gets you into transcode, or into a transcode play or any of the other Link 3s. So that's pretty solid. But I think it's a solid card. I think it'll come up in certain strategies just like that, just turning a 2 material board into a 3 material board. And if it's a deck that you're staying in Cyberse for the rest of the turn anyway, like, why the hell not, right? Next up we have Linkross, a Cyberse Link effect monster. It's a Link 1, it's light, it has 900 attack, and its arrow points straight down. Its material is 1 Link 2 or higher monster. Okay, so we finally have a generic card. You can just link any high Link monster down into it. You can only use this effect of this card once per turn. If this card is Link summoned, you can special summon Link tokens. They're just 0/0 level 1 Link tokens, Cyberse. Up to the link rating of materials used for this, up to the link rating of the material used for this card's link summon. Also, you cannot use those link tokens as link material for the rest of this turn, so you're not able to link off with them, which is very, very good. We should not be able to. This card would be way too abusable. You'd be able to like make a Borreload, steal something, then link into this, and end on an Appaloosa with 4 materials or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this card gets crazy. There. I think it's cool, though. I think it could definitely come up in certain defensive situations, or maybe you have a Link 2 or 3, and you're like, I'd rather just go into this, summon this 900 guy while also getting like 2 or 3 defense position monsters just to defend yourself. I think it could come up, but I don't think it'll come up that much, right? And then we have the Arrival at Cyberse. This is, or the Arrival Cyberse at Ignister. Sorry, this is an at Ignister. It's a Link 6, the first Link 6 in the game, which is kind of crazy. It's a Cyberse Link effect monster. It's dark. It's a Link 6. Starts at 0 attack, but it has a top, left, right, bottom left, bottom right arrows. A lot going on there. It takes any 3+ monsters with different attributes, which is interesting. Pretty generic, but for some decks it could be awkward to make. You can only control one of this card at a time. This card's original attack becomes the number of materials used for its link summon times 1,000. So you got to assume you're not linking 6 different monsters into this. You're probably taking 3 or 4 into this, so it's probably going to be 3,000 or 4,000 most of the time. It's unaffected by other cards' effect. Now that's the busted part about this. Any combo deck that just spams the board enough can just get you into this card. Can just get you into a 3,000 beat stick that is unaffected by other cards' effects, which can, for a lot of decks, be impossible to out. This could legitimately be a win condition for any deck that just spams the board, which I kind of like in that sense, because there are decks that don't have a necessary win condition they can end on, but they can put 6 link materials on the board, and this becomes a possible win condition for them. Also, once per turn, you can target one monster on the field, destroy it, and if you do, special summon an @Ignister token, 0/0 token to your zone this card points to. That's it. This card's really powerful. I'm curious how makeable this is. Like, it is 6 materials. That's a lot. But, yeah, we'll have to see, where this card really ends up, if it actually ends up being worth it, or if just 6 materials is just asking too much. If you get striked, if you get whatever, does it not make it worth it? Do you just, you definitely just lose the duel, probably. I don't know. We'll have to see. And then we have some AI cards. So we have AI Contact. This is a normal spell that you can only activate once per turn. If Ignister AI Land is in your field zone, you can reveal another copy of Ignister AI Land in your hand, then place it on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, draw 3 cards. I don't think this card's particularly good, just because it requires you drawing / already opening one and then searching another at Ignister AI Land, just to draw. Like, obviously the payoff is huge. Draw 3 is huge, right? But the problem is, it's just, I don't think it's enough necessarily. Not that it's not enough, but I don't think this will really come up often enough. And maybe I'm wrong, because I believe they do have a way to search AI Land, so they have more than just one card. Maybe it is a one-up, just if this card itself is searchable, because I think they do have a way to search AI spells and traps, but maybe it is as a one-up, just like if you happen to have that specific situation and that search, you just grab it, draw 3. Why not? And the last card we have here today is AIQ, Continuous Trap card. So you activate this card if you control an Ignister monster. Okay, not too crazy. You're only playing this in Ignister probably. Once per turn during your standby phase, you must tribute 1 link monster or destroy this card. And its effect. Each player can only link summon once per turn while this card is face up in the spell and trap zone. Okay, now that's spicy, especially if an AI spell or trap is searchable in this archetype, because if you just have a situation, you just finish your combo by searching this, set this, and get it. Like, just get it, because like a lot of decks just lose to this. Not just lose to this, but like Salamangreats lose to this straight up. They have to be able to put 2 monsters on the board without link summoning, which a lot of times they cannot do, just to make a hard Sunlight Wolf, and then they can't reincarnation link. They can use effects to have a strong resource gain, but like that's it, and they're just locked down. This card is very strong against Salamangreats going first. And then there are decks that it's not very good against, like obviously like Orcus can work by only just making Galatea once per turn, like obviously, and then they can out it by going to Gearsu if they want to. What else? I know there's other situations. Let's see. Thunder Dragons don't really care that much. Strikers can totally work by only making 1 link monster a turn. But I do think it could easily be, depending on the meta, a very strong card to just lock people down. So maybe it's a side deck card that you just play at 1 if it's searchable, right? And you just go like, okay, I know my opponent's playing Sally's, and I'm going first. Just grab this card and just probably win, right? It's a very powerful floodgate. I could easily see it being strong for the deck, but I don't think it's too powerful. I think a lot of decks can still do a good amount under this, but still, I really like this card. I think it's cool. I like a lot of these cards. All these links, essentially, I like. This card, really strong, but we'll see if it's worth. This card gives nice utility, being able to link off higher links. Splash Mage, obviously. Reviving a Cyber is really nice. Generic fusion support, and then this boss monster is kind of insane, as well as this card. This card's actually really strong. This card has no restrictions as far as like you can only summon Cybers for the rest of the turn. It has no restrictions like that, so any deck that can just link summon might as well be playing this card. I could easily see this card being super played just because it's a +1, just straight up +1. Just play 3 of it. Why not? We'll see, though. We'll see, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below on these cards here, the first cards for Eternity Code. I'm really curious to see what like else they decide to like finish up the Link Vrains main era with. Not that we won't get any other Link Vrains cards ever. Just I'm curious what they're gonna do as far as like the finishing, wrapping it all up right in a nice little bow. At least for the last core set. But guys, let me know your thoughts down below. As always, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.